Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and we're back with our live coverage of Cloud Connections, Cloud Communications Alliance event. This is a special podcast with my good friend Ray Sheppard of ICA AI. Ray, thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure to be here, Doug. I'm excited about this opportunity.
So, you know, this event, the Cloud Connections event, is very special to me. It's sort of the grand opening for 2026. All the best and greatest ideas are here, and I'm so glad we had a chance to take some time out. You've been working on this project for a while. ICA AI is back in our publication with new branding, new ideas. Let's dive right into it. Ray, you said to me just a minute ago that this is going to be a big year, and you think that there are like 5 things on the table: security, privacy, personalization, democratization, and profitability. And you have this new product called Trusted. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. See, this 2026 is a big year for the UCaaS industry, and everyone is talking about AI. But on the other hand, everybody's frightened to death about AI, because one of the reasons they're frightened to death is that it's known. In fact, the leaders in the industry in the last 2 weeks confessed that profitability is not on the horizon. So here the industry is excited about something they know up front it's not going to be profitable. And that's just one of the 5 things that they're looking at, but they know they have to do it. So yeah, it's all of our technology, the 5 components for technology, each one of them to my trusted platform.
So let's dive into that, because essentially, Ray, you know, it's funny. I want to relay this to our audience. I was on a panel yesterday, and talked about there was some journalists on the panel, and we were reflecting on basically the year that was and what we were observing. And then you handed me this beautiful handwritten note and said something like, "Everything you guys just talked about is what Trusted is all about." So, Ray, in so many words, you're saying maybe you kind of cracked the code here, that you're offering the market a solution that it really needs.
Yeah, I had to do everything in my power not to make any comments. When you asked,
you were bursting. You wanted to burst.
No, I wanted to, but I didn't dare.
Right.
Because I was a little long-winded on my responses. But the fact is, we're really in the catbird seat right now this year. And we're relaunching ICA AI at this point in time, where our first customer is coming up in Boca Raton. We'll have them complete in March. And the industry is exciting because it's growing at like 26% a year. This year, like 58 billion, growing to 300 billion over the next 5 years. So it's expecting a tremendous amount of growth. And what I'm excited about is all of it is based upon their expectations that AI is going to be their savior.
So let's talk about this one by one, because you have these 5 core principles, and I think we can all agree that the top of the lot has to be security.
You know, up till last year, whenever I talked to these big telecom organizations and these big cellular companies, you know, I would explain our security solution, and they would say, "Well, you know, I'm making money with my security solutions, so they're making money by selling apps." Okay, and their network technology it almost does a job. So it's not good enough, but it's not. They didn't consider my technology a must-have. They considered it a nice-to-have. And so now with AI coming into the marketplace, because it's not just voice with the carriers where they had it, and it was nice to have. Now it's voice, text, chat, email. Now, and when the AI monsters go out there, the bad actors, they're going to be hitting on all channels at the same time. So now that they've introduced UCaaS, AI assistants and receptionists, it's a must-have. So they've moved from a nice-to-have to a must-have situation. That's exciting.
Now, the next up on our list is, on the hit parade, is privacy.
Well, if you can't provide privacy, if you can't guarantee that conversations won't be listened to and messages won't be written, You're not going to be able to go into the big industries that wanted the most, the finance, medical industries, and they're not going to move forward until they feel comfortable that their privacy is going to be secured. And we guarantee that we don't look at any of the content of any communication. We just look at the metadata. What that means is that if there are two parties communicating, all we say is party A talk to party B. And party A talk to party B 50 times or 20 times. Party B called party A back. Party A text and chat with this guy. So all these different channels, we track all that. And you can learn more about patterns than you can about words. Words aren't as important as the patterns by which people communicate. And so it's relationships between people. And one of the things you can't do is you can't fake a relationship. So you can't fake a relationship.
Now, the next thing is, and it's really, I'm glad you finished on relationship, we got personalization.
Well, look, I'm not putting down large language models. If what large language models, I wouldn't be here today. But large language models are content generation. They got introduced in 2023 when ChatGPT released their large language model. 1 million people sign up in the first 5 days. 100 million people in the first 2 months, and there's over 800 million using it today. And that's just one of many companies. So it was just introduced at that time, but it uses a large language model, which is content generation. Give me language what that's about. So it's a content generation. And so if you're, for example, you notice that when you type into a computer blank, 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 and it autofills the rest, that's content generation. So they introduced that in the industry, building bigger, faster models. The model was build now, profit later. Well, here we are, 4 years later, and there's not a chance of a profit. As a matter of fact, the industry, the officials of the industry, all the echelon, the OpenAI CEOs, Goldman Sachs, all said profitability is not in the picture. So that's the dilemma they're in right now. They don't have a technology because it doesn't solve problems. And so that's the problem.
Well, now save that thought because we're going to get to profitability. But the next principle that you've built trusted on is democratization. So what's that?
Right now, if you look at the price list of all the different services that the AI industry is offering, I brought the document in yesterday. I showed it to them. I had 3 different products. And those products, our costs were less than 1/10 of the cost of each of those services. So we have cost of 10% of the competition. So that's a good place to be in the marketplace. Really, it makes it affordable. What I mean by that is that right now, AI assistants and receptionists are dedicated to just the executives, the C-level executives in the company and in the call center application. And they're only used for those because they're expensive. Our system, because it's 1/10 the cost, it's available to everybody in the organization and not just the echelon. So when everyone can leverage AI and have an AI experience, the productivity alone will have tremendously positive impact on the entire industry, on the customer too, on the user.
So, democratization means accessibility. It means I can afford it. It's for everybody.
Exactly. That means everybody can afford to take advantage of AI.
Now, finally, this is the biggest point, profitability, which is what you were touching on before. So you've been saying throughout our podcast today that the promise of AI is immense, but the profits that people think were going to be there might not be there exactly the way they thought.
Well, we filed it. The industry came out 2023. Okay. And so we started in 2023. So our scientists, I came to them and said, look, I got a problem. I want to solve a problem of unwanted communications. I wanted it to be voice, text, chat, email.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a solution for that. So the scientists came back with a reasoning technology. In other words, they use reinforcement learning. They didn't use content generation. Reinforcement learning is a different kind of technology altogether. They're meant to be compatible with each other, but they have been stuck using large language models, whereas I use reinforcement learning. So think, one of the problems with AI is that when you ask it, and it was designed to do that, when you ask it a question, 2 seconds later, when you hang up, it forgot what you asked it. And that was done by design. They designed it that way. The reason they did is, if you'll notice, when people inquire with the generative AI products and they'll ask a question, then they ask us the question at the same time, they get charged twice for that. If 1,000 people come in and ask the same question, they're going to get charged 1,000 times whatever that fee is. With ICA, think of it as a technology and a patented technology that's got 2 brains. Or think of it this way: it's a librarian and a library. Okay, so what we do is, we're reasoning. So what we do is that when we start out in the beginning, there's not a lot of information, a lot of data. So we're going to be doing, the librarian is going to have to be researching information. Okay, but once she researches an information, she puts it in the library. Now, just like a public library, anybody who wants to look at it again, it's free. So that process goes on. Now, 85% of the words that people say are pretty much common and have a semantic reasoning, like, what's the weather today? What's the temperature today? Those are 2 different word phrases, but they mean exactly the same thing. Our patented technology provides a semantic tech layer that understands all that. So the point is that if we have 1 million people using asking the same question, we're only going to get charged once. And that's good for the UCaaS industry. But if 1 million people ask us in the UCaaS marketplace, they get charged 1 million times. Okay?
So Ray, let's put it together for me. If I'm an MSP, if I'm a channel partner, carrier, any of the service providers, all the people here at this event, Cloud Communications Alliance event, what's the opportunity with Trusted? How can I use it?
Well, it's an easy question for me to answer, and I'm not trying not to be braggadocious, but we are an IP company. We're not going to be competing with our customers. We're going to license our technology to the industry, and we're doing it. We're going to just license to the industry. The industry can actually have a product. They can go to a customer and provide a real solution that's meaningful. They can go to the customers and say, are you tired? Are you tired of getting spammed? Are you tired of getting all these emails that you don't want and all these phone calls? Well, picture the day that they're all gone. Can you imagine it? That's one of the system. Another feature of the system is everybody in the office can take advantage of it. Okay. And another feature of the system is it's not going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be in effect for everyone that uses it. There's going to be a product increase so that at the end of the day, it's actually going to be profitable. So the more people you put in our technology, the more money you're going to save as a company.
Really interesting. What's you've been here, you've been showing your product, talking to people. What are you hearing from the people here at the CCA event?
The same comment. You got something.
Got some.
It's almost the same comment. Yeah, you got something. Because the fear of God has been in with them to go into the marketplace, and all the concerns they had, I provide the answers with Trusted.
Well, this is really interesting, and thank you for giving us a first taste of this. What an appropriate place to have this discussion. Ray, I want to thank you for joining me today. Where can we learn more about Trusted and ICA AI?
Wow, you can learn more about Trusted AI by going to ICAsolutions.ai.
ICAsolutions.ai. Ray, I really want to thank you for joining me today. The first of many conversations, I'm sure, but for now, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for your time, Doug. It was exciting to be here today with our